Hi guys, this is Hyunmin Max, aka Max. Welcome back to another video on the channel. I know lots of you have actually been asking me to show my tactics or to do a tactics video, right? So this tactics video, will actually be really helpful for you guys. For those who are actually struggling to get to 9 wins, for example, right? If you're struggling to get to 11 wins, right? Or if you're even struggling to get to 14 wins, right? These tactics, will actually definitely help you get, I'm quite sure, minimum 2 more wins if implemented properly, right? You guys can't underestimate the importance of having good tactics. You might have very good players in your team, you might be a very decent player, but without the right tactics, it's actually really hard to get lots of wins. So I've actually finished with 16 wins, right, in the last weekend league with these tactics. I've been using these tactics for a few months now, right, and it has been getting me anywhere between 14 to 17 wins, so I think it's really effective. I'm gonna be adding timestamps in the video as well, right, so do check out the timestamps below to see what is helpful to you guys. So this is the team that I rocked, right, in the previous weekend league, whereby I finished with 16 wins. So let's move on to the tactics. So what you see on screen right now is what I would call the starting formation. So this simply means that you do this, right, simply because you want to make sure that your players get cam, right, so that when you start off you have higher cam, right. This doesn't mean that you actually play the game with this formation, right. Of course you can do it, right, but it's actually quite rare. So even in your starting formation, it's really important to have the correct settings, right? Let me explain to you why. Right, so you go over here, you go under custom tactics, right? So this balance tactic, right, is the formation that you saw just now, right? So you have to adjust these tactics. It's so important. Why is it important? Kickoff glitch, right? It's actually very prominent in the game, or rather, if you don't understand what is a kickoff glitch, it simply means that when your opponent attacks you, right, from the kickoff, right, it's actually very easy for him to score. And if you actually don't have this balanced tactics set correctly, right, it's easier for your opponent to score. So don't make it easier for him. So what you want to do is, for your balanced tactics, right, you want to go defensive style balance, right, with 50, depth 50, right, build up play balance, chance creation, direct passing with 50, right, players in the box 5. So for your corners and free kicks, right, you can actually drop them down to 2. That's not a huge issue. Right, and then you go over to the instructions. Right, so I will just do comes for crosses and balance, right? Stay back while attacking and overlap for both of your fullbacks, right? And then for your CDMs, right, you want to have stay back while attacking, cover center on the both of them. Okay? So for your cam, you want come back on defense. For your striker is stay central, right? For your wingers, you want come back on defense, get in behind and get into the box for crosses. So I want to stress again how important this is. Sometimes, right, when you actually change formation in game, right, depending on the servers at that point in time, it can actually take up to like 20 in-game minutes, right, for your formation change to take place. So if you don't have all these instructions on your balanced formation, right, you're actually gonna be at a disadvantage. Okay, let's move on to the tactics proper, right? So we have 4. I'm gonna be going from left to right, simply because that is how I actually play in game, right? I'm gonna be explaining what each formation does for me, right, and how I progress through the formation. So my first formation, or usually when I start off the game, right, I will actually switch to the 4-2-3-1 formation, right? This formation is actually really helpful for me to actually get a sensing of my opponent, see how good he is before I actually switch to my subsequent formations. Right, this 4-2-3-1 is actually really useful for me to actually close out the game. Let's say I'm winning 1-0 and it's the 70th minute, right, and I want to close out the game, I will switch to this formation, right? So let's go into the formation itself. So for the defensive style, I have on balance, right, with 45, depth 55. So like I mentioned, right, because this tactic is to close out the game or to start the game out, right, we actually want to start off slow, or we actually want to close out the game. So slow build up is the choice of option here, right? Chance creation is balanced. So why is the width 75? Simply because when we want to close out the game, let's say in the 70th minute, right, I'm winning 1-0 and my opponent goes constant pressure, right? This formation on its own, it's actually wide enough, right? I'm going to talk about how do you activate hug the sidelines, right, a little bit later. So players in the box is 2, like I mentioned, right? We don't want too many players in the box because this is a formation to close out the game while we're winning. Right, corners can be on 2. Free kicks, you can leave it on 2. Personally, I like to leave it on 3, right? I'll suggest that you leave it on 2. So, the instructions itself, right? Stay back while attacking and overlap for the fullbacks. So for me personally, right, I like my goalkeepers to have come for crosses across all the formations, simply because the corner tactic is actually really overpowered in FIFA 23, and some of the goalkeepers like David De Gea, right, has this trait. If you guys look under the trait, right, he has this cautious with crosses. This comes for crosses, right, actually kind of help to alleviate that trait a little bit. So I love this comes for crosses on goalkeepers. For your center backs, right, no changes, just leave it on default. So for your 2 CDMs, right, it's quite straightforward, right? Cut passing lane and stay back while attacking and cover center. I can't stress the importance, right, of having this stay back while attacking and cover center, right, on your CDMs. If you guys are struggling to get 11 wins, right, this is something that probably you didn't do, right? It leaves your midfield super open if you don't have this, and it's easier for your opponent to go through your midfield and score, right? So for the cam, it's you have him on stay forward, right? On your wingers, right, I just leave it on default, right? No changes there. For the striker, right, we're gonna have stay forward, stay central, and get in behind as well, right? So this is the formation that I usually start out with or use it to close the game. So what happens after I realize that, if I go to the 4-2-3-1, I realize that I am better than my opponent, right? What I do is I go to my 4-3-2-1 formation, right? Or this is the formation that I play with most of the game, right? Even if I think that I have a shot at attacking the opponent, I'm gonna go to this 4-3-2-1. So defensive style will be balanced, right? With 47, depth 60. Build out play, right? I actually have long ball, and chance creation, I'll have it under direct passing. So some people, right, actually prefer fast build up, right? But for me personally, I like long ball. You guys can toggle between the two and see which one suits your playstyle more, but personally I like long ball, right? So chance creation will be direct passing with 47, right? Players in the box would be 6. So for your corners, right, and free kicks, right, you probably would want to drop them down to 2, simply because counter attacks in this game are actually very overpowered, right? If you realize that sometimes when you get a corner kick and then your opponent scores directly, it's probably because you have too many players in your box. You probably have this on 3 or on 4, right? But again, it's a risk and reward thing, right? Personally, I like to have them on 3 because I want to attack my opponents, so it's up to you. Right, if you guys want to be a little bit more cautious, I suggest just do 2 each, alright? So let's go to the instructions. So goalkeeper is the same, comes for crosses, right? Your fullbacks are the same, stay back while attacking and overlap. So I'm actually going to be talking about how do you activate your fullbacks via the D-pad, right, later on in the video, right, to make them more attacking. But you want to have them stay back while attacking, right, as the default setting. And again, right, this is probably something that you guys didn't do if you guys are struggling to get to 9 wins or 11 wins even, right? So out of these 3 central midfielders, right, the center midfielder has got to be the most defensive one. So in my case, right, Fofana is the most defensive out of Zidane and Ceballos. So you probably want to have somebody who has medium-high work rates, right? I've always been talking about work rates in my player reviews videos. Why? Simply because you need that out-and-out defensive midfielder to protect your midfield, and he is so important, right? I would say it's the most important position in game, in my opinion. So you have stay back while attacking, right? Stay on the edge of box for crosses and cover center. So this midfielder would sit while your other 2 midfielders go forward. So for this midfielder, right, on the left, right, you actually want him to get forward, right? This is probably gonna be your more attacking midfielder, right? He's gonna be trying to create chances and score, right? So get forward and cover center. So that's why I always say that, right, in 2-man or 3-man midfield setup, right, you definitely need one defensive midfielder, and you definitely need another box-to-box, right? I think playing 2 box-to-box or playing 2 DMs, right, just isn't it for me, right? It's not that balanced in my opinion. So for another player, right, Zidane in my case, right, I'm gonna leave this all on default. So what happens is, right, Zidane will actually be out on the wing, right? I'm gonna explain a little bit more later, right? So you wanna leave this on default. So out of your 3 central midfielders, right, whoever you put here should be the most attacking, right? Or in my case, it's gonna be the cam position. So if you have somebody like, say, Griezmann, right, you can play him here, right? If you start off with, it's basically your cam, right? Whoever is your cam, right, you can actually play him here. He's actually really suitable here. You can even play Nkunku here, right? I can play Nkunku here, but I choose to play him up top. Now, for your left winger, right, you want him on comeback on defense. So what happens is, right, when you actually defend, right, this formation kind of defense in like a 4-4-2 formation, right, Ribery is gonna be the left mid, right, Ceballos and Fofana will be the center mid, and Zidane will be on the wing, right, on the right wing, hence the cover wing on Zidane. So Nkunku is gonna be having the stay central instruction. So Mbappe, right, is gonna be stay central and get in behind. So the player that you should have on the right wing, right, should probably be your second most attacking player, right? Your best attacker should be in that striker position, right? So those are my suggestions as to the players. So if let's say I'm struggling to break down my opponent with the 4-3-2-1 formation, right, and I think I need a little bit more width, I actually go to the 3-5-2, right? So you want balance, right? 40 width, 50 depth, right? Long ball and forward runs. Again, for the build-up play, you can toggle between fast build-up and long ball and see which one is more suitable for you. For me, it's long ball, right? Width is at 45, players in box is at 7, right? Corners and free kicks, right? Like I already mentioned, right? Up to you, right? If you want to have it at 2 or 3, right? For me, I like to have it at 3 for free kicks and corners. So let's go to the instructions. So again, the goalkeeper has come for crosses, right? For these 3 center backs, right, it's just stay back while attacking. So for the players, right, just make sure that your center back with the lowest acceleration, right, should be in the center, right? Your faster center backs and your full backs should be out on the sides, okay? So for your CDMs, it's the same. Cut passing lane, step back while attacking, and cover center. No changes there. Now for your wing backs, right, you need to have comeback on defense, get in behind, and get into the box for crosses. If you actually don't have comeback on defense, right, you're actually always going to be defending with 3 defenders, right? So this is a very important thing. Remember to set comeback on defense on your wing backs, right? So what this happens is this formation actually gives you more width, right? And you can actually have an extra man on the left or on the right, right? I'm referring to your wing backs, of course. So in terms of the players that you should have for this wing back position, I would suggest that you have players that actually have minimum medium defensive work rate so that they can actually come back to form a back 5 when you're actually defending. So for the cam position, right, stay forward, get into the box for crosses. So for your 2 strikers, right, I'm gonna have both on stay central and stay forward, right? So let's move on. What happens if I'm losing 1-0 and it's like the 60th minute, right? Or 70th minute? I'm gonna go to this 4-2-4 formation. This is my all-out attack formation, you can say, right? Throwing the kitchen sink, as they say. So I'm gonna have pressure on heavy touch, right, with 65, and of course my depth is gonna be very high at 70 because I want to high press my opponents into losing the ball so that I can score, right? So we're gonna have fast build up and direct passing. Again, it's up to you, fast build up or long ball, right? In this case, I think for the high pressure tactics, right, I think fast build up is more suitable. Width is at 40, players in box, you want lots of players inside the box, right, to score 7. Corners and free kicks, probably at this time, right, you wanna move them up to 3, right, simply because you're chasing the game. So what about the instructions, right? Again, comes for crosses, right, and balance. So the fullbacks are still gonna be stay back while attacking and overlap, right? That is for me. And then for the CDMs, right, now they're gonna be getting the get forward instructions as well as get into the box for crosses and cover center. Okay, for your wingers, right, come back on defense only. And for your strikers, right, it's stay central and come back on defense. So you might ask me, right, Max, why is it that why do you have comeback on defense on your front four attackers, right? When you're 1-0 down and you're chasing the game, right? It's very simple. What happens is sometimes when your opponent wants to play like a rat, right? And he's 1-0 up and he want to protect his lead, right? What he's gonna do is he's actually gonna want to pass the ball between his defenders. So this comeback on defense, right, actually helps you to cover up that gap in between your opponent's defense and midfield, whereby if he were to pass the ball between his defense and midfield, right, your front four attackers, right, can actually go and press him to win the ball back, right? So this is why you have comeback on defense. It's very simple, right? The ultra defensive formation, right, or the 4-2-3-1, right, is a formation that I start out with to actually get a gauge of how good my opponent is, right? Subsequently, I go on to the 4-3-2-1 formation, right? If I can't break my opponent down, I go to the 3-5-2 because 3-5-2 gives me an extra man for the left on the wings, right? The left wing back and the right wing back gives me an extra option on the wings. If I'm losing, I'm gonna go to the 4-2-4, right? If I'm losing 1-0, 2-0, and it's the 60th minute, right? I'm gonna be trying to chasing the game. It's gonna be 4-2-4. If I want to close the game out, if I'm winning 1-0 in the 70th minute, right? I'm gonna be going to this 4-2-3-1 formation. So I've actually come to the end of the video, right? If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, right? On my channel, right, I cover lots of things, right? This is my first ever tactics video. But if you guys want to learn how to make coins, if you guys want to learn how to, or if you guys want to know about player reviews, right? I do lots of player reviews. If you guys want to know how to craft SBCs, right? What are the best SBCs to craft? You know, how to make coins from the SBCs, right? Do join up, do sub to the channel, right? I'm actually going to be doing more videos in terms of gameplay subsequently because I also have people asking me to do a skill moves tutorial, right? What are the skill moves that I usually use in my gameplay? So I'm actually gonna be looking into that maybe in subsequent weeks, right? And yeah, if you guys wanna see anything, right, just let me know. Right, I'm trying to be the one-stop shop, right, for everything FIFA related, right? You guys can come to me for anything so long as it's regards to FIFA, right? So, right, if you guys actually need help with improving your gameplay, right, like for example, you guys want to get from 9 wins to 11 wins or 11 wins to 14 wins, so on and so forth, right? You guys can actually join up my Discord, right? I actually would be starting a group there, actually share some tips, right, on how you can improve your win percentage in weekend league, basically how to improve your basics in FIFA, right? You can be really new or you can be playing FIFA for a very long time, right? And I think that I've actually managed to help a few members in our Discord get better at the game. So yeah, if you want to get better at the game, do join up the Discord as well. And yeah, hit that sub button, man, and I'm out, right? Take care, guys.